All right, y'all, I'm back. I put that stimulus check money to use. Got me a car part. Thanks, Mr. Trump. Psych. Well, actually, all seriousness, I got this with some credit card points. This particular mod was on my list. I never really saw an intake, a full intake as something I would do to this car. First, based off of just past Nissan Infiniti, their intakes from the factory, or starting with the G35 and out of the G37, the Q50s, Q60s, their intakes have been pretty much true cold air intakes since the G35. Their intakes always take air straight from right here from the vent. And when with the G35, they had the ram air, and then G37 they went to the dual, and then the 08 G35 had the dual, and then now with the Q50 they're basically doing the same thing. They got this big old ram air thing, and you're pulling in actual cold air. It's kind of hard to beat it, and that's why you saw, if anybody y'all saw, I think it was Concept Z Performance did a comparison, and they did all these dyno runs with all these different intakes, and basically nobody really beat it. I mean, even the AMS intake got 5 more horsepower than your stock intake, and all of it was seen on the top end. It's not worth the money, in my opinion. But one thing that Infiniti always does, and this is not them trying to take away performance, but this is them because this is a luxury sports car. And for them, if it's going to be luxury, it has to be quiet. So you'll see usually the part that goes from the intake to wherever the throttle body is on like the G35 and the G37s, and 14, 15 Q50s, it usually has that little, it's like rippled into the intake. Into the throttle body, and then on the Q50, so from the intake to the turbos is rippled, and part of that is so it can move, and then the other part is that it reduces induction noise because this is a luxury car with that sporty. So they reduce the induction noise by putting those ripples on there, and that takes away a little bit of performance. And as you saw, when people switch into smoother a smoother intake track, it gained about 5 horsepower. So I guess the Infiniti engineers was like, whatever, we lose 5 horsepower, but we won't have the sound. But if you want the sound back and you want more horsepower, then you go and you buy something like this. Or you go buy a full intake from somewhere else and they give you a smooth one. And that's really where you're getting the power from. You're getting the power from that smoothness of going straight into the turbo instead of having those ripples there. Or on the G35, G37, you get it from adding that smoothness. And then of course you putting a better filter on there. That's really the two things that's helping you, because they designed their intakes to be true cold air intakes from the factory. So all these intakes wasting your money when really you just changed that one part. And I was happy to see that Berger Motorsports made the one part that I care about, and I can just buy that one piece and put me a better air intake filter on here. And I have basically took out the 2 restrictions from the factory. And you're done. We talking, but I forgot how much I paid for these 2 filters. I want to say they were $50, $60 or something like that for both of them. And then I think this was $100. And I can't remember exactly how much it was because, like I said, I brought this with credit card points and I just hit buy. I think it was $100. So so $160, and I improved on what they couldn't do from the factory. Instead of paying $300, $400, $500 for 5 horsepower. Anyway, let's see. I hadn't even opened this yet. I actually had this for about, I want to say I had this almost a week. They shipped, once again, Berger Motorsports shipped this out from California to Alabama. I got it in 2 days. I was like, what the hell? Because, you know, I brought it and I kind of like clicked and forget. So I was like, all right, whatever, what COVID-19, I'm probably not going to see this for a week. 2 days later, I got a knock on the door. So y'all getting to open this with me because I haven't got to yet. Let's see what's in the box. All right, one smooth intake from the air box to the turbo. And then we got the second one. I'm gonna make a separate video of the install of this. It's one side is, I think this is the passenger side, and on the passenger side it's pretty easy. You got a lot of space. I mean, this is the driver's side. On the driver's side it's pretty easy. On this side, on the passenger side, it's a little annoying to do it, but it's very doable. Something that most people will be able to do. Have a little patience, and you'll be able to do it. Oh, and they include, I guess, 2 new rings to go with it. No instructions, but like I said, this is actually, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you haven't already took the intake off before, maybe it's not, but as far as where this part goes, it's self-explanatory. But you know, taking off the ram air and then the 2 boxes, that's all you have to do, and then you'll have access to the stock inlets, and you can replace it with these. Nice logo on there. You'll never see it, but it's nice that they put it on there. So yeah, I'm expecting 5 horsepower from this, but I get in the same 5 horsepower spending, I think, $100 versus spending $500, $600. But anyway, that's what it came with, and y'all check back later for the install video, and if you haven't already, like and subscribe.